Thank you for taking the time to answer a couple questions I have in regards to what we experience after death and pasts changing once I truly change the present. In regards to life after death, it seems boring. It seems that it would get old just reflecting upon the 100 or so years we spent alive on Earth for all eternity. Can you please somehow help me with maybe an analogy or something to allow me to understand what it is like after death to make it not so unappetizing?
Your definition of the afterlife is what, in a sense, is boring. You don't ruminate on your physical life on Earth for 100 years and more for eternity. You go through your life review relatively rapidly, and you are able to make other choices very quickly of experiencing whatever it is you wish to experience. If you really wish a crude analogy, it's like going from the parking lot at your Disneyland into the park when you die, and having all sorts of choices of rides and experiences, just to use that analogy that is something representative of what you have on Earth. It isn't boring at all. It is the exact opposite of that. You have an amazing array of choices laid out before you of what to experience. So open up your imagination and don't buy into outdated definitions or limiting definitions of what the afterlife is like. You have a misinterpretation of that idea.
And in regards to the past changing, once I truly change, what about scars? If I have a different past, shouldn't I not have the same scars? Thank you so much for your help.
Whatever it is you believe you need for the continuity, connections to the idea of the past, you will recreate them in the present over and over and over again. If you truly change to a point where you no longer need that continuity connection, yes, your scars will simply not exist in the new person that you are. Many people have seen this phenomenology occur in what are called multiple personality situations, where one particular personality may have a physical representation of something, and when they shift that personality, the physical representation is no longer there. So the idea is you keep recreating it because of an idea of connection to the past and continuity that you believe is necessary for you to live in physical reality. But yes, it's possible that it would go away or never exist in the person you've become if you change to that degree, if you no longer need that continuity connection.
Oh, hello, Bashar.
Good day.
Greetings. It is James. It is I. I am calling you from the Sacred Valley of Peru.
Oh,
and I have some questions for you. It's nice to speak with you, by the way.
And you
I've
as
had
well.
such a great ride in the past many months since the last time we spoke. And it's been quite a ride. We've been ringing your doorbell. So here we are. And now we're getting to talk to you.
What would you like to discuss?
Well, one question I have is about the future self. And while I'm in the physical, how does that work exactly in the physical to meet him together? Can we do it together as well as like what the channel would do with you? Is it possible?
Yes, it can be done in this way. Again, the idea is that there are an infinite number of probable future selves with regard to the path that you are creating. So it's simply getting in a state of desiring to have that contact in whatever way actually works best for you, and allowing whatever probable future self is most representative of that particular connection to occur in whatever way it needs to in perfect timing. Again, many times you may have already connected to the future self with downloading ideas and information and concepts that you may have thought came from nowhere or everywhere, may have actually been directed by the future self. In a lot of cases, the future self can send information back to the so-called past self to help the past self up the ladder without you even knowing that it came from the future self.
Yes. Well, that's what I've been experiencing with Ely, as I had called him for many years now. And I have been experiencing visitations on Sasani in nature, and it's a looping of an image that I have, and he is guiding me.
All right.
And the guidance is my intuition is that it's going to a temple, it's going to a building that's on Sasani.
On Essassani.
Essassani.
The Sasani are the people. Essassani is the planet.
Thank you. Thank you. And being here in Peru, is there a connection to an ancient structure that is on Essassani that you have mentioned? And is that connection here by any chance?
It is. Now remember that structures on Essassani are not always permanent, but there's always an energetic template or a representation of any structure that has ever been built, even if temporarily. And yes, there are some strong connections to Peru, some of which we are allowed to discuss and some of which we are not allowed to discuss.
Okay, so I guess the latter will apply. Yes, so we're just investigating that and having a really good time, just exciting to sit anywhere in this land, in this place. And the energy is very intense, and it's an open doorway. So it's wonderful that way.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. I'd like to ask you a little bit about shamans that you have talked about before. Do they play on a different playing field? If you know what I mean, is there, as far as the astral and the different levels of existence, where are they? Because I've experienced many things where, there's engagements there.
Yes. Yes, of course. When you reach a certain level of understanding and awareness of your consciousness, you may allow yourself to become aware of the different levels of yourself and your consciousness that do exist on those different levels you're referring to, such as astral and so on and so forth, and become more connected in communication and application with those levels of your consciousness. So yes, of course, if you want to say they play on a different level, yes.
Yes, so the interactions that happen at that level from shaman to shaman, curandero, how does that work? Because I've experienced it being real, but then there's this, my own belief system is there as well.
All right. Well, understand, and your own themes are there too. It's not always just about the idea of the belief system limiting you. The theme itself may say it's not relevant for you to experience a certain thing at a certain time until later. But the idea is, it's not that all of you aren't doing that. You all exist on all those different levels. It's just that the shaman has become more aware of it.
Okay. So there's no engagement of shaman to shaman. It's like darts and arrows. We hear these stories and the legends of etheric battles happening from shaman to shaman.
No, not in the way that you mean it. Some of those things and interactions may translate into physical reality as if they are battles, but no, not really. Not in the way you actually mean that as a human being. There are engagements, there are decisions, there are co-creations that play out archetypally in a way that filters down into human consciousness and may seem like a battle, but it's not the kind of battle that you actually think of when you're talking about physical reality.
Okay. Yes, it's a fascinating subject, Bashar, I am grateful in this way. The resonance that came through me to get here, to be here, to talk to you in this way has been, I don't know if anybody can understand it. It's very intense, very strong energy. And I know that it's meeting your frequency. My question really is nothing but a comment to say thank you and how grateful I am in the journey that I've been on in the past 3 years. I've been kicking and screaming. I've been 49%, but we understand what the 51% means. That keeping it, turning it into the positive.
Yes. We thank you and our deep appreciation to you as well. Continue on. Good day.
Ta'atu.
Ta'atu.
you, and my question is, if everything happens here and now and there's no past nor future, and past and future are just parallel realities, does that mean that, for example, yesterday I ate chocolate? Does that mean that I am still eating chocolate in another parallel reality, like in a loop, forever eating chocolate? I traveled last week. And so does that mean that I'm still traveling in another parallel reality, forever traveling like a loop? And if that's right, can I develop a technology to visit these parallel realities that look like my past and create the illusion of time travel? Is that possible? Thank you. Kisses. I love you all.
Yes, that's possible because that's what time travel is. You are perceiving other realities. You are shifting to other realities, and in a certain way that gives you a sense of relevance between that reality and what you consider to be your own timeline. But you're not stuck. And remember that when you say I, that's not you anymore. That's another person. Even though they may look like you, even though they may be acting like you did in the past, they're not you. They're having their own experience in their own timeline. It's not perceived as a loop. And they're not you anymore. So you can't say, am I doing the same thing over again? You're not. You're moving forward just as they are. But they're sharing a similar frame to one that you shared, passing through in their timeline that may lead to someplace similar than where you're going, or it may lead to someplace completely different. But that's what time travel is simply shifting to parallel realities that may look like your past, but are their own realities that are simply out of sync with yours.
Hello.
Good day, good day.
Hi, Bashar. I'm super excited to be here with you. Thank you for doing it with us and spending time with us and teaching us.
It is our passion and our pleasure to do so. We thank you in deep appreciation for the co-creation of the interaction. What would you like to discuss this day?
I have a few questions about dreams in general, but I'm super excited to be here with you. I just need to say it. So thank you so much again.
All right.
When I was about 5 or 6 years old, I had this reoccurring dream that a man with this 80s mustache would come into my house, take me out of my bedroom, take me to the basement of our building, out of my family apartment, chop me into pieces, put me in a suitcase, and walk around with it. And it was exactly the same man, it was exactly the same dream for like about a year, and then it stopped. And I've always been very sensitive. I can sense a lot of things. I can see things. To this day, I have a lot of strange dreams. So I wanted to know, like, what was it, if we can talk about it?
All right. Well, that particular dream, symbolically, is the idea of going from spirit into physical reality and having to create a compartmentalized version of your consciousness in which to operate in physical reality. So it's kind of like your higher mind saying, in order to be physical, you kind of have to break yourself apart, but I will carry you around and you will be safe. It's just that you will be, in a sense, in pieces in order to explore physical reality, because you have to create compartments in your consciousness, and you won't be functioning like a whole being for a while. But eventually you'll be able to bring yourself back together. But in the meantime, I will carry you around in this safe suitcase, and no harm will come to you.
Okay, so in a sense, it's not necessarily a negative dream, because that's kind of how I interpreted it throughout the years, that maybe something happened, maybe some kind of abuse or whatever.
Well, it's a negative mechanism being used in a positive way and being explained to you, because you do have to use a negative mechanism, which is the idea of limitation and separation, in order to experience physical reality, because you are putting limitations on your larger consciousness in order to have a physical experience. But it's just symbolic of the fact that from the point of view of a spirit, it does seem more confining. It does seem more limiting, and it may be experienced by the physical mind at first as if something detrimental is being done to your consciousness, when it's just being explained to you that this is what is necessary in order to experience physical reality. But the suitcase represents the idea that the higher mind still has you safely encased in a way that you are being guided properly, so that, again, you will always recover and discover yourself and pull yourself back together, which is why the dreams ended.
Mm-hmm. Great. So another question similar to this one, where about 7 years ago, I had a dream, and in my dream, I was dreaming that I woke up in my own apartment and I went to my bathroom, the bathroom that was my bathroom. And
Yes.
in it, I saw a being, and I'm very tall, I'm like about 6'4", and the being didn't fit into the bathroom. So it must have been like about 7 feet tall or like 6'8" or so. And the being was bending forward to fit into the bathroom. And I was very, very scared of the being, and it was a male. I don't know how I know it, but I know it. And the being said to me, "Oh, I know you're not ready yet." And then the dream or the experience ended. And can you talk about that a little bit, if possible?
Yes, again, you have different connections to different guides, different ETs, different dimensional beings that are more than happy to reflect to you your progress in life. So again, it's a little bit of a symbol, not that the being didn't present itself in a larger way because that's its natural state, but it's a little bit more of a symbol that to some degree you're growing, but the idea of your full understanding of yourself still can't fit within the parameters of the belief systems in your physical mind, but you're making progress.
Okay, that's a really good answer. Thank you. And so what about the radiation marks or whatever happened that I had on my body underneath my arm after, and that stayed for like about, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, maybe up to a year? Is
Yes,
that an
well,
abduction thing? Or?
that's a little different. Yes, that's more of an encounter with the idea of the Greys because you are part of the hybridization agenda.
Okay, and I thought so. So my whole idea, I kind of understand the answers that you're offering, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But so since I was little, because of the dreams that I've always had, I have problems sleeping, because when I fall asleep and I close my eyes, I see things. When I see things in general, then I fall asleep and I have nightmares, or I have encounters where I feel taken and
All
or
right.
overtaken, and then I wake up from it with
All
fear,
right,
and then
all
I
right,
sort of
all right,
continue.
all right. Again, this goes back to the idea of the experiences and encounters with the Greys as part of the hybridization agenda. Because again, your physical consciousness feels like it's out of control when you are taken, and when you are part of the experimentations that were done to remove DNA to be used in the hybridization agenda. You have to understand this is not being done maliciously. It is something you agreed to from a higher level of consciousness. You are participating, and if you are willing to allow yourself to feel more of a connection to what is going on and more connection to the decision you made to be of assistance in the evolution of the Earth through participation in the hybridization agenda, you can open up to have these experiences or remember them in a way that is more on your terms, in a way that is less fearful, in a way that allows you to know that you are always in control. So just ask for more awareness, ask for more memories to come back in an aware way that will allow you to know that you made this agreement and that you can experience these things in a way that is less fearful for you, that you can do it on your own terms and recognize your true conscious participation in the evolution of humanity on the earth. When you go to sleep, open up in love and accept the idea of your choices and allow yourself to ask for more participation, more consciously, more responsibly, and on your own terms. It will eventually smooth out.
Thank you. And can you tell me who the being was who didn't fit in the bathroom? Or it wasn't specifically being was presented to me in a way that I could understand it?
It was presented in a way you could understand it in participation with your guides and your higher mind.
Thank you very much. And so a question just briefly on the history of Neanderthals and like Homo erectus and humans. How long did it take them to create it? So like, how long did it take them to create us? Was it on a ship? Was it here on Earth? Were they in a laboratory? Like, how did that happen? And didn't they disappear
Yes.
because they mixed with us enough for a long period of time? That, like, can you tell us a little bit more on that?
Mostly on Earth in laboratories. It took a few thousand years, actually, overall, to refine it, but not many. And in the idea is they were recalled because it is something they shouldn't have done according to their own laws. So that group was recalled, and then humanity to some degree was guided by those who recalled them, who now realized it was their responsibility to guide humanity, at least to a certain point, while at the same time sort of remaining hands-off to allow humanity to evolve on its own. but with some guidance.
And is there anything in the history that you can tell us that we believe strongly in that it's incorrect? I'm sure there's a lot of it, and you have shared this before with us, but anything
Yes.
that we could just briefly discuss today, anything that humanity believes in that it's not correct for our reality, our version of reality, the one that we are in?
When you say not correct,
Or it's not true, or hasn't happened, and we believe that it has, or...
well, many people on your planet believe that the Earth is flat, and it's not. Many people believe that you have not traveled to the moon, and you have.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, that's good enough. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. Aveo.
Aveo, thank you.
Hello, Bashar. This is Kasia from Denmark. First of all, I want to say thank you for this amazing contact crystal, what I received recently in this beautiful red box. And this was a gift for my husband. And he followed you many years, so it was a wonderful gift. And my question to you is today about my experience. I had a free experience during the meditation in different locations, in different apartments, when I was meditating, and somehow I connect with some kind of energy so powerful that I simply was lying on the floor in a split second and sweating. So can you explain a little bit what kind of energy I connect with? And so thank you very much for today and have a good day. Aveo.
Our energy, but we exist on a much higher frequency than you do, and therefore it may take some time to get used to the higher frequency. Until you do, it might cause those kinds of reactions in your body which is operating at a lower frequency. But by practice and your preferred meditation technique or permission slip, you will raise your frequency to become closer to our frequency and no longer experience such a difference between us. Good day. Good day.
Good day. Thank you. First, I wanted to say thank you for being so patient and kind with people who seek your counsel.
I am not patient at all because I live in the moment and I do not need to be patient. I enjoy every moment.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I did have a few questions. The first has to do with two interactions with gray beings.
Yes.
The first one was, I think it was a dream. And then in the dream, I woke up and there was a very young gray standing at the foot of my bed. And it was strange to me because I felt like I had a really strong maternal feeling toward it. So I guess my question is there any sort of connection, or was it a dream?
No, it is a connection and a memory, although in a different reality. It's not exactly a gray being, though many hybrids actually do have many gray qualities, but it was a hybrid child of yours.
Okay. In this life, as I know now, as this person, will I be able to have any other sort of interaction with it, or?
There's a high degree of probability in the near future when the hybrid children come to live among humans on Earth.
Okay. The second was the other day when I was meditating. I was opening myself to have communication, and there was what I interpreted to be a gray, and it felt like a female energy that came through, and it was a very brief interaction. I felt like she was like very wise, like she held some sort of a station, and the name Alora was said.
Yes.
Can you give me any further information on that?
Every single person that is part of the hybridization agenda does in some way have a gray counterpart. This was a gray counterpart. In other words, it travels in family lines not only in humans on Earth, but in the idea of the mutated humans called the Greys from the parallel reality Earth. So in a sense, Alora is you in another reality.
Okay, that makes sense. And so this is a communication I'm able to tap into and to keep exploring. And
make that a statement and it will be true.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The last, well, no, I actually have two more things. One, I had a very vivid dream last night where I was resuscitating a stillborn baby. And I started massaging its chest in a circular motion. The word I think that I was saying was SSAO. Does this make sense to you, or do you know what this is?
Again, this is to some degree a memory of an encounter with a hybrid child that you were asked to assist with in bringing it to fruition. And you are using the vibration of connection to us, Esasani, to allow yourself to raise its frequency to the point where it could survive.
That's so amazing. Okay, thank you. The last thing I had was this has kind of been an issue my whole life. It's just come in the past couple of years. I'm really trying to be very self-aware about it and work through it. And it's this relationship that I have with money and finances, security, feeling like something's going to happen and I'm not going to have the resources to be able to this has just been a theme like my entire life.
All right. Do you remember or have you heard us talk about how many forms of abundance there are?
Yes.
So why are you limiting your abundance? By focusing only on one way in which things can be done. It's true, when certain things happen, you may not have as much of that resource called money that you think you need, but you always will have all of the resources you need if you relax your insistence that money's the only way in which certain things can get done, and start allowing the other forms of abundance like synchronicity and communication and imagination and trading and being given a gift to come to the forefront and fill in the gaps where the money falls short, because it doesn't need to be any more than that which arrives. Does this make sense?
It does.
But
I guess I'm trying to figure out how to cycle out of that. Like, I'm really good about being able to switch my perspective, and if there's something that I feel like is negative coming in or not true to the experience that I want, switching the trajectory. I just don't understand why this is still. I feel like I'm smarter than this. Like I know better. But this is still...
All right, but remember how this works. Remember the motivational mechanism we have talked about. If you hold on to a negative belief system, a limiting belief system that doesn't serve you, it's because you have another belief that says that if you switch, something worse will happen. And that's the stronger belief. Therefore, you keep limiting yourself because you believe that to switch on the motivational mechanism, to change that belief, will actually cause you harm. So you have to find out why you believe that letting go of that limiting perspective on money and broadening your perspective on abundance will actually allow something worse to happen than playing it safe and holding on to only money as the way in which certain things need to get done. You have to find out what benefit you are getting from holding on to that limited belief, because you wouldn't hold on to it if you didn't believe there was a benefit to doing so. And the benefit is usually a belief that something worse will happen if you let that belief go. Do you understand? That's how it works, mechanically speaking. So what are you afraid might happen? Do you feel that it is really true, that it is really more likely, more probable than any other reality, that if you try to broaden your definition of abundance, that somehow you will be destitute? Somehow things will not work for you?
No, I feel like I believe the opposite. And I have been given some like really great ideas, like for a story. Like, I love writing. Like, there are so many things I can channel. I've helped a lot of people in positive ways.
All right. So why is this different? Why is the definition of this relationship different than any other where you say you know that you can shift your perspective? What belief do you have that makes this subject more difficult to shift your perspective on? What have you been trained to believe? What have you been trained to believe about the idea of money and finances?
I guess that there's just,
Don't guess. Don't guess. Think back.
yeah, that there's lack. Yes. It's the way I was raised. Yes.
All right. And so it's very powerful. So if you let that go, do you have a belief that in some way, shape, or form you will be dishonoring who taught you these things? That it will cause a break between you if you don't think the way they thought?
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like because our relationship has been strained at points.
That'll be strained even further if you let this idea go. Yes?
Probably.
And you're afraid of that, correct?
In a way. Mm-hmm.
All right. Then that's what you have to work with, is understanding that it is more important to be yourself. And whether the other person understands that or not, that's their issue, not yours.
Yeah.
And that you actually would be honoring them, whether they understand that or not, by being your true self. So you have to be comfortable with the idea and the understanding that just because someone might be displeased or strain the relationship between you while you are attempting to be more of your true self, that's not your issue. That's their issue. I'm not saying you have to do this deliberately to hurt someone or to put a strain on the relationship, but you can't be responsible for what they choose to feel or how they choose to react that limits and curtails your ability to be your true self. You have to let that go. You cannot be responsible for their choices. You can only be responsible to them by being who you truly are and letting them know who they're actually in a relationship with, so they can make up their mind as to whether to change or not if they want to continue to be in a relationship with who you actually are, as opposed to who you think you should be.
Yes, this is so helpful. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Does this help you?
It does. I very much so. Thank
All
you.
right.
Well, thank you.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Good day.
You too.
Greetings, Bashar. My question is, one night I had a dream where the apartment I live in was haunted. It was a pretty vivid dream. And in the morning, when I got up, I was doing my morning routine. And at one point, I thought about that dream. And when I did, the lights in my kitchen flickered. And they've never done that before, and they haven't done that since. Is there a connection? Thank you, and have a great day.
Someone in spirit is attempting to get your attention. So pay attention to it. Be positive in your vibration. And whatever positive energy or information needs to come through from spirit, you'll eventually make the connection more consciously and receive that information. So just know that something is attempting to get your attention, and stay in a positive state with that idea. You will receive what you need to receive eventually. Good day.
Good day to you, Bashar.
Good day. What would you like to discuss this day?
My first question, although I think I have been a fairly good person most of my life, there are a few things I regret doing, one of which caused some memory loss. The memories have started to return slowly over time, but they are fragmented and incomplete.
All right.
Is there a way to streamline my memory recovery and become whole again?
Well, have you learned to do something different from this experience?
Yes. I've mostly been relying on rosemary oil, sleeping
I don't
longer.
need to know the details. I don't need to know the details.
Okay.
I'm just asking you in general. Whatever it is you did that you say you now regret doing, have you learned from the experience and are now doing something differently that you believe is more in alignment with your true self? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then there is no need for regret anymore, is there? If you're learning from it?
I guess not.
The regret is weighing you down and holding you back. That's the way to streamline yourself. If you acknowledge that something has been done that you don't prefer yourself to do, and you have been willing to allow yourself to learn a lesson from it and change who you are and do things differently that's more in alignment with who you truly need to be, regret does not have a place in that formula. The regret served a purpose in simply getting you to recognize that it was not something you prefer to be. Once you recognize that, there is no more room for the regret. It has done its job. It served its purpose. So let it go. Yes?
Yes.
That will streamline you and move you forward. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
You are welcome. Anything else?
How can we see auras and the flow of spiritual energy around us?
By raising your vibration, which you are on the path of doing. It will happen naturally. Of course, you may attract yourself to some methodology, and if that permission slip works for you to increase your ability to stretch your senses to perceive those energetic things, then that's fine too. Trust synchronicity will bring you what you need. But the idea, again, is that as you allow yourself to become more and more of who you are and move forward, your vibration will increase, and a natural result of your vibration increasing will be that your senses will begin to see things that you heretofore couldn't. So it's just a natural part of your evolution.
What can we do to improve if we go into a meditative state, but we're not making any progress?
But depends on what you define as progress. What are you insisting must happen when you go into a meditative state? Insisting that something particular must happen is actually the opposite of being in a meditative state.
Well, if you're sitting in meditation, but you're only experiencing a dark void.
What's wrong with that? Dark voids are quite beautiful.
I was hoping to get a little bit more out of the experience.
Well, maybe that kind of experience is not designed for something you actually find workable. Or again, you're bringing too much insistence and expectation in what you think it's supposed to do. Maybe you have other ways of meditating, maybe not. But I just gave you the hint that if you explore the dark void itself, you may find there's more there than you think, instead of insisting that something else should be happening other than the dark void. Maybe the dark void is exactly where all the information you seek lies. Think about the dark void in a different way. Define it in a different way, and maybe it will surprise you as to how much the dark void actually contains. But don't be insistent about it. That's exactly the opposite of the state of meditation.
Okay.
Remember, there are active meditations too. Are you acting on your highest excitement as often as you possibly can? Hesitation usually means no.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. No.
So why not?
I'm not.
Why not? What's holding you back from doing so?
Fear of the unknown, most likely.
Why do you fear the unknown? The only thing you'll ever discover in the unknown is more of yourself.
I'll take that under consideration, Bashar.
You may take it under consideration for as long or short as you wish.
What's the best way to consistently contact the angelic realm?
Do you have a way that you prefer to open up to the idea of the angelic realm? What does your imagination and creativity conjure for you when you think of making contact with the angelic realm?
Usually I try to raise my vibration so that I can get into the mind state of a higher being.
All right, but don't make it so difficult when you say try to raise your vibration. When you open up to the idea, the very thought, the very concept of connecting to the angelic realm, how does that idea feel to you?
Great. I mean, I feel good when I'm trying to do so.
All right. So understand, it's not about trying to do so. When you feel good by just simply conceptualizing doing that, you are raising your vibration. Because understand the trick. Remember when we said, if you have heard us say this, that you cannot conceive of what you're not the vibration of already?
Yes, I remember you saying that.
Therefore, even being able to conceive of the idea of connecting to the angelic realm means you're already in the proper state to do so. Otherwise, you would never be able to even conceive of doing something like that. That's the trick. Does that make it easier?
Yes, it does.
There you go.
Uh,
Again, don't have insistences or expectations on how that must actually respond to you. It may respond in a number of different ways, through synchronicity, a number of different ways. So don't have an insistence and say, whoa, it's not working because I'm not hearing an angel talk to me or blow a trumpet in my ear. Just make the connection, know that you're making the connection, know that they're receiving it, and know that the response will come in whatever way actually serves you best. And therefore, don't limit the way you are able to receive it by insisting that it must happen in the way your physical mind thinks it should. Just let it come in the way that actually works best. So do it, make the connection, know you've made the connection, know there will be a response, and then let it go and get on with your life. And it will come.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's all about not trying too hard. It's just about doing it. It's just about knowing that you're doing it because you understand how physics works and knowing that you wouldn't be able to conceive of making a connection to the angelic realm if you weren't already in the vibration state to do so. Therefore, it's done. The minute you conceive of it, it's done. Then go on to the next thing that excites you and let synchronicity bring you whatever needs to bring you in perfect timing and in a perfect methodology. It will be recognized by you for what it is when it needs to be. Until that moment, just move on.
Okay.
Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Will that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
All right.
There was an incident in the Barney and Betty Hill alien abduction case where an alien being put his hands over a book and was able to absorb the knowledge within it. Are we capable of the same thing?
Absolutely. Remember, information is available anywhere and everywhere. You just have to resonate at the same frequency as the information that you seek. And it's exactly the same idea that we just explained to you about the idea of making contact with the angelic realm. Just know that the very concept itself contains the vibration you need to be at. And then just let the information come when it needs to come. You don't always need every single piece of a book. You will get what you need.
Were the feats of King Solomon in the Bible real or just a fable?
Some of them are real, some of them are misinterpretations, some of them are for the idea of making a point.
Okay. And with your species, do you have a concept of marriage?
Not in the way that you do. Our entire society considers itself to be married to everyone else.
Oh, that's impressive.
If you say so. It's just who we are.
And as of right now, are you happy?
Always. I am never not happy.
And how do you maintain that level of happiness?
Why would I choose anything else? That's the answer. What reasons would I create for myself to choose anything but happiness?
Point made.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hi, Bashar. It's my understanding that I'm a precursor being. If this is true, it would also appear that I came here for the purpose of creating, inventing a communications tool. My question is this true? Was my major purpose to create this tool? And is this project considered a success? Thank you.
It may be one of your purposes. Now, you have a misunderstanding about the term precursor. Precursors are not from Earth. They are hybrid beings that may arrive from time to time on Earth and walk among you to see if you can actually perceive the difference between them and a typical human. You are not a precursor in that context, but you are part, like many people, of the evolution of humanity who may have come through to create certain things that can help accelerate that. The idea of communication devices is one way in which many people who are part of the evolutionary acceleration may assist in that acceleration and evolutionary path. But you are not technically a precursor.
It is Victoria, and it's wonderful to meet with you.
And you as well, Moon Pie.
I have a couple things that I'd like to talk to you about.
Yeah.
The first is I have found a place that I have landed, per se, so I have moved to.
Which is?
I am very close to Joshua Tree at this time.
All right.
Yes. And I'm starting to get to know the place a little bit better.
Joshua Tree will transform you into someone else, into another aspect of your being.
Right. I feel that. And it's funny because this is one of I never expected to land here. So it is different. But that's okay. And I'm still learning the land. And I was wondering if you had anything that you would recommend checking out in the park while I am here.
One moment. There is a type of desert mouse that making a connection to this animal in some way, shape, or form, whether it is indigenous to the area or not, but represents an environment similar to that area, would create the proper vibration to allow you to experience a type of connection that will draw you deeper into the earth and help you understand a connection to the natural world that will allow you to receive communications more strongly to your heart from Gaia, from Mother Earth, in a way that will transform your perspective on many things in the physical world with regard to the energies you can perceive from different people and different environments that will guide you to your true self. We are given to say this in this way specifically by higher guides and higher mind. End of transmission for that subject.
Thank you so much. And thank you to the higher guides and guardians. I appreciate that. And I will explore that.
All right.
Also, as you know, the Day of the Dead, Halloween, All Saints Day has passed, and
All Souls.
And All Souls, yes, thank you. And for this day, I did like a ceremonial altar, like for my ancestors. Yes. Very simple, but I was contemplating, honoring their memory and their life. And I was thinking about how more have passed on to spirit now, and how I know we're all connected, but it shifts my perspective on life in certain ways and the future.
How so?
Well, I feel like seeing their lives and then reflecting like on my life, and I'm like, okay, as I'm passing and living life, what essence am I leaving upon the planet?
Yes.
And that's just, it's become more important and more like of a focal point to me.
Yes, this is one of the reasons why it was recommended to get in touch with that particular small desert mouse. It is the essence of humbleness.
Very interesting. Okay. So that being said, I was wondering during this time period where the veils are thin, is obviously it's a time that we can connect with animal earth, or animal spirits that have passed on, families that has passed on, but is it also a time where we can connect to other galactic, say, races or dimensional time periods because the veil is thinner outside outside of just the human type of...
Absolutely. Now, again, these things are always available, but when you say the veil is thinner, it's simply the representation archetypally of the collective consciousness's willingness and ability to open up to other realities.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.
The willingness to open up to other realities. The willingness to open up to other realities. Take that into your dreams and see what blossoms when you plant that seed.
I will. And it's funny because you mentioned dreams, and I haven't been remembering my dreams lately, and I feel the need to remember them more. So
when you get back to being your true self in your true heart and your true core vibration, you will.
Thank you, Bashar. I truly appreciate you and all of you.
Our deep appreciation for you as well. Good day, Moon Pie.
Good day.
Good day.
Greetings, Bashar. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
It is our passion and our pleasure. Thank you for the co-creation.
Thank you. My name is Callie, and I'm living in the Sacred Valley of Peru near Machu Picchu. And yeah, lots of amazing energies here. And I don't know if you have any updates on what's going on in this area.
We do, but none to share.
None to share. Okay.
Except one of our kind has recently arrived in that area to monitor certain energies. You may connect to them if you wish. It is similar to the idea of our craft over Sedona. Another of our species has arrived over that area of Peru. For a variety of reasons we will not go into, but you may connect to their vibration if you wish.
Wow, okay. I've done a lot of work in Machu Picchu at the Templo de Condor, the Condor Temple, and had a lot of visions there years ago. And it's actually what brought me to live in Peru after once the pandemic started. And I'm wondering, is that Machu Picchu is so close by? We're in the last town before Machu Picchu, and the train leaves from here. So we're very much a portal. And I'm wondering, do you suggest that I do some more work in Machu Picchu, or that perhaps they're coming there?
As we said, you may connect to another member of our society in that area who has recently arrived.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. My next question, the 51% rule that you talked about recently. I've been called Pollyanna by many people because I tend to put a positive spin on things all the time and find the teachings and everything. And when you shared the 51% rule, I felt really validated and kind of fed my ego a bit. And I'm just wondering if you can give us any tips on how to stay in that place. Because sometimes I definitely slip.
Why would you leave it? When you slip, it's a choice to leave. What reasons do you give yourself in your belief system that should be your choice?
Well, because I've been told not to negate the negative. And it seems like you
don't negate the negative by knowing that it's there. You become more aware of its existence. The idea is that you simply make a choice to experience it in a positive way. I'm not saying that you call the negative a positive thing. You recognize it for what it is energetically. But you use it to your advantage by remaining in a positive state. That's very different than being naive.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, it kind of fed my ego quite a bit. The 51%, once I was validated in my Pollyanna-ness. So that's something that I need to work with as well. Feeling that I'm better than others when I do stay positive.
Yes, you are not better than others. You are simply making different choices that are more in alignment with who you truly are. But again, it's not out of naivete. If you understand how things work, you'll become even more aware of the negativity. It's just that you will have no reason to choose it.
Okay, very good. That's helpful.
Thinking of yourself as better than others is a choice of negativity.
Absolutely. It's an ego temptation every once in a while that I realize is not healthy. So
it's a negative ego.
Negative ego. Yeah.
It's not ego. Ego keeps you focused in physical reality in its natural state. There is nothing negative about the concept of the ego because it's doing a job, keeping you focused in physical reality, since physical reality isn't real. You need some sort of framework, like the ego, to allow you to stay focused in something that is a simple projection of your consciousness and knowing that it isn't really real. So the ego has a job, but it's not the negative ego. The negative ego is when you tell the ego that it's the sole controller and it's better than anything else and it determines everything. That's not its job. It's not designed to do that. But if you make it think that it is, then you wind up with the negative ego.
Okay. Wow, that's good to keep in mind. Thank you. The next question I have is about control. And you had mentioned recently that if we release control, then we would find that everything is in our control. And I've certainly heard this from many, many people. I'm wondering, can you suggest how to catch ourselves when we forget?
Well, do you not recognize when you have gone into the limited version? When you understand how things work, will you not know when you have gone into the limited version of the idea of control?
Absolutely. I know when I'm there, I just kind of...
I stay sort there of for your own reasons.
Shock.
Well, that's all right. Again, it's not about being better than that. It's about accepting what is and learning from it. That's how you use it. Why am I here? Why am I experiencing this? Why am I choosing to experience this? Is there something for me to learn here by having chosen that? Do I have a belief system I'm still holding on to that I'm not aware of? What would that belief system be that would make it seem like a logical choice to come back to this place? If I understand how things work, what would be the reason that would be so overwhelming that I would choose to be here again? Examining yourself deeply that way will be able to use that particular state of being in a way that can benefit you if you learn a lesson from it. Learn what the belief systems are that would make it seem logical to keep choosing to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it's kind of like a worthiness thing, questioning my ability to communicate when things are in a heated situation, for example.
All right. And why do you think yourself unworthy of proper communication in those situations? Why do you succumb to the lower vibration?
because my mind goes blank. If I'm, if I'm in an energy that feels overwhelming, and
All right. And
I
do you
kind of
not
lose
understand? Do you not understand that your mind going blank can actually be a benefit to you?
I'd like to work with that, definitely.
Well, if your mind goes blank, then you're not going to necessarily offer a negative reaction to something, are you?
No, unless you call it passive aggressive, that I say nothing.
Do you wish to define that way?
Definitely don't. Definitely don't. But I feel like in order to remedy the situation, the conversation.
What makes you think you're supposed to? What makes you think you're supposed to remedy it?
Well, I feel like I need to do my part in trying to.
How do you know that doing your part? How do you know that doing your part isn't to remain silent and let the other person recognize their issues that they're projecting on you?
Well said. Yes, I believe that.
All right. Again, not because you're better than, but just because you're offering a blank slate for that person to bounce off of and get a reflection for themselves of the projections that they may be putting onto you of their own issues. You don't have to remedy anything. Again, you're trying to be in charge. You're trying to be in control. I have to rescue. I have to save. I have to fix. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And when you relax into that state of it being okay to go blank, you will come out of it more likely than not with the perfect response that gives them the opportunity to face the issues that they are going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Silence can be very helpful to kind of recalibrate things.
And if nothing else, after the silence, you can perhaps even make a suggestion to the other person. Is that what you really wished to say?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you really wished to say? I'm giving you an opportunity to rethink what you just said and decide if that's what you really wish to say. If it is, that's fine. But I'm giving you an opportunity to decide whether you would like to communicate something differently at this particular moment. And it is the blankness that would allow you to do that, allow you to come up with that kind of a response.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that help?
Just dropping into presence and dropping into my higher self in that silence definitely opens the opportunity for right communication, for good communication.
Yes, because you would know that when people communicate harshly, it's usually not representative of what they actually wish to talk about. It's usually just something on the surface that's a cover for their fear of facing the issue at hand. And if you give them the chance, if you give them the opportunity to rethink it, many of them will.
Right. Wow. That's helpful. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Pleasant
Thank you.
dreams.